you think back about coming here, what was the the features of the place or the characteristics of the place that really surprised you? I mean, how different it was from your previous environment?
A very nice surprise. I was, for me, it was, okay, I had been out of the country, but, not to work for a long time. So it was, I was a bit in the beginning, sort of stressed, but it was so easy to adapt. You felt so much being in a community, and it didn't matter where you came from, whether I came from Greece or whether somebody came from Oxford. I mean, it wouldn't matter. I think also in terms of hierarchy. I mean, it didn't matter if you were a pre-doc or a postdoc or maybe a group leader. You felt equal. You felt an equal part of a scientific community, which was very new to me. So this was, of course, made life very easy and fun to work and be in EMBL. And then, of course, the science. I mean, back at that time in Greece, but still now, even maybe worse now, you always had to explain what's the use of your research. You have to explain that your research is useful. In EMBL, you could do your research as long as you asked a basic, fundamental, important question. Nobody would ask you, is this useful? Why do you do it? I mean, you do it because you were curious enough. You wanted to know. You wanted to create new knowledge, and this was also very striking for me.
Eventually, you moved back to Greece, you were mentioning. Was there a chance or a possibility to import some of the culture that you learned here in Germany? Yeah. Were there the conditions there? Or?
Well, conditions were not so, of course, I mean, far distant from the conditions in EMBL, both in terms of resources and, and infrastructure. But what I tried to keep in my career as a professor in university is what I said before. What struck me most in EMBL, which is asking fundamental questions, curiosity-driven questions, which make sense, and not fall a victim to this. I try to do something which is translatable or which would lead to a product, because always this gives you easier funding. To get, funding in Greece for fundamental research is more difficult. But I still try to do that because this is what I liked. I mean, this is what, why I like science and why I like research. I believe that no matter what, sooner or later, new knowledge will be translated into products, services, innovation. You don't have to run after it.
Yeah. Well, if anything, the concept I think could be that if you don't have that level of fundamental knowledge, there is no new product. So,
exactly.
So it's very important to actually maintain that. And I'm not sure, I mean, if I can see what happens in Italy, it's a similar situation to Greece. I mean, they will tell you, well, no, you have to be something that is relevant to be doing that, and then you have to convince them that absolutely what is relevant is the ground knowledge. Otherwise, there's nothing you can apply.
And this approach, I think, makes you a much better teacher, both to the undergraduate students and also to the PhD students that you have to supervise. And this is the spirit I also try to give to the students I supervised. And most cases I was successful, let's say.
Where did your science go when you establish your lab? I mean, did you still work on the nuclear core?
Well, I had to change again. I've changed quite often in my career, which is not very good career-wise. Okay. But otherwise, it was interesting because when I joined the medical school, as I said, and when I was at Hood, I was working with yeast, and working with yeast in a medical school, it was sort of looked down upon. So I tried to find a new project, and I tried to collaborate with the other colleagues that were there. We were a small group at that time. We were 3 people in the department, and we tried to find something common. And at that time, it was a very interesting question was how were the hypoxia-inducible factors regulated?
To explain a bit, I mean, what is the importance of understanding how the cells are reacting to different levels of oxygen?
Well, because hypoxia, first of all, it happens all the time in our body. I mean, during embryogenesis, we have hypoxic tissues in our body all the time. We become hypoxic if we run up the stairs, and also it's characterizes many diseases. I mean, pulmonary diseases and cancer. I mean, this is our focus mostly. I mean, solid tumors are hypoxic. We know that now. So cancer cells have to survive this lack of oxygen. Okay. And they use the normal response to hypoxia that it's increasing in our cells to get over this. Mm-hmm. So by understanding how this works, and the basic factors in this are a small family of transcription factors called the HIFs, hypoxia-inducible factors, that they, induce new genes that allows our cells to adapt to low oxygen, like produce anaerobically energy through glycolysis and so on and so forth. Cancer cells use it to survive, and it has become actually a valid target, and actually a drug. There's already a drug. It's used for renal cancer that inhibits HIF2. On the other hand, you also want to induce these factors when you have anemia or when you have a hypoxic condition. And there's also drugs that have come out to treat anemia of renal disease.
But I mean, I think it's a very nice example of what you were mentioning before, because you're sort of going full circle from fundamental knowledge on how the system works, sort of potential drugs for different conditions, and now you're sort of, with that knowledge, coming back and reevaluating the system to see how is the fine regulation. Exactly. So you have this, feedback circle where you can generate more knowledge and probably more precision in the modifications that you do with these exactly. Compounds and medicines.
But I still think the people who made the breakthrough findings, they wanted to know the truth. They wanted to, to create knowledge. It was not that they wanted to. The driving force, I think, was not, just to make drugs.
Yeah, it was. What you're saying is like there is a good right in understanding things for the sake of understanding.
I mean, the best times I remember when I felt I was the first person on earth to see something. I cannot describe this feeling. I mean, I think every scientist has felt it. I mean, it's amazing, an amazing feeling to see. I see something. It may be a band on a gel, it may be an image on a microscope, and you say, I'm the first person to see it. It's like, you feel like you're the man who's walking on the moon. I mean, right. I exaggerate, but I mean, in a way, it's what drives you, to go on, and, of course, this does not happen every day. Yeah. And, a lot of times you fail, but this is a driving force, to see, to reveal new truth.